I had the feeling that those bans would imply you're bringing a close range comp.
Right.
Because the Huguenot and the Rapier just shuts down stuff like we're seeing here, Vindicators. Vindicators, because the Huguenot and Rapier have like those extra range on the webs, the Huguenot and Rapier can't. The Vindicators can't get close enough to apply those 90% Vindy webs. So I wasn't 100% sure, but I had a feeling Vindicators were gonna come, and I'm so happy they're on the grid because I love Vindicators.
Vindicators are terrifying.
I actually really like Flight Deck's team here, though, compared to Odin's. Sorry, Odin's call, guys, but they did bring 2 Sentinels, and both teams having Balgorns means that there is a possibility. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to play it because they are at cross warpins from each other, so they're starting about the battleships are about 60 km off of each other, so they do have to kind of either go at each other or at least chase each other. And with the Balgorns, it's entirely possible that these Vindicators could be webbed into oblivion, and then with the Sentinels, they can be tracking disrupted into oblivion. And now you have blasters shooting at like probably 7 to 8 km range. So we'll see what happens here.
Interesting as well. We're going to have a Bal versus Bal Newt off.
I'd be very surprised if the Bals suck each other off.
Stealing my quote. You owe me $1,000.
Okay.
Here we go, though. There's red lines straight running right across the field as the blue team here just charges in.
And we are seeing remote tracking computers. Yes, the Leshaks are pulling back, and the Neros is remote tracking computering.
The Neros is going in, though. I'm all for this Neros.
The screen in Neros!
He had a scram yesterday, so it's possible he's got one today.
He's turning around. He's spooked.
The Neros is going to sit next to the Leshaks because it's got TCs, and it's also probably got cap charges for the Leshaks.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe it does.
Looks like he's starting to take a bit of damage, though, as those Vindicators get in range.
Yeah.
And the Vindis aren't being screened by the Balgorn, so they're actually just ramming straight in, and they are tackling the Leshak of Rosemary. So, there is a possibility that they could have kept the Vindicators off, but they chose not to.
The Neros is going down hard, though.
Yeah, they know, dude. That the tracking computer Neros, it's very important. Powerful
please.
ship.
Oh, wait, is it hull tanked?
It looks like it is.
Hey, you can get like 50k HP out of a whole tank Neurus, so even though it's not gonna rep much, it definitely takes a while for it to die.
I really don't understand why these Vindicators aren't shooting the Leshaks. The Leshaks are one of the biggest ships, and at 55A, there we go, it's finally getting shot. At the speed that it is at, and the fact that the Leshaks have control space, and the Vindicators have control space, the Vindicators are going to vomit DPS on this Leshak.
Yeah, and Flight Deck's actually got Sentinel Newts on the Deacons of Rainbow Wolves, which is really, really scary. Because small Newts, they're going to have so much trouble keeping their cap going. So they need to either clear that or figure something out there to stop them from having that be a problem.
We are seeing what we didn't see in a previous match with the Navy Mechas of the Vindicators flying really well. They've got within range even with the TDs on them. They've webbed the Leshak down to 13 meters per second. They've just controlled space and are just trying to do as much DPS as possible.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch this little support fight going on as the Pontifexes and some of the other smaller ships are screening these Sentinels off of the blue team Deacons, though, which is why this Vindicator is staying alive for so long. They're able to put almost full reps on him whilst keeping them untackled.
Can someone explain to me why one of the Sentinels is getting TD'd? Is it ECM, maybe, on the Sentinel that's forcing an arbitrator to TD him?
It might be bad piloting.
Yeah, I think it's bad piloting.
You should start to see the Leshak of Rosemary go down because all the rep drones that were on top of that Leshak have finally been smart bombed off by the Balgorn.
Oh, look at that Vindicator, it is hurting.
What we're also not talking about here so far is that the Flight Deck have brought a Griffin along with them. So in addition to all of that tracking disruption, there's ECM in play. There's Newts in play. It's a nasty control setup from the Flight Deck.
So looks like the first blood goes to Flight Deck, right?
Oof, their attack bar just got half by that Vindicator going down. That's really scary.
Yeah, it might be a no-gun Balgorn almost by the looks of it, or at least no heat sinks.
It's smart bombing off all of the rep drones. All the rep drones that keep going on the Leshak, it just keeps clearing them off.
Yeah, and Erd's Deacon actually has a Nero sitting on top of it, nuding it right now, which is kind of funny. He's not the Nearest and the Sentinels are keeping one of these Deacons completely cap dry. I'm a camera sitting on him, and he hasn't sent a single rep for the
It's
last
amazing.
2 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like that's the last of the rep drones, because every single time they got smart bombed off, the rep drones would just jump back on the Leshak. But there's now only about 4 left finally, and we're now seeing ECM drones getting dropped by other ships.
I mean, I'm feeling for that other Vindicator. He is getting pumped.
Yeah, they don't quite have like even with the Balgorn, which is almost a full new Balgorn. He does have a smart bomb on him. They don't have the ability to shut these Leshaks down enough. So, they're going to slowly ramp up to the point where they just pop through it, and especially with that.
I mean, it is a hard slog for Rainbow Wolves now, right? Like, I mean, you've lost your major DPS ships. Like, what could you do?
Just look at their attack bar on the stream, right? Like, it's tiny. I think it's pretty much just the drones from the Balgon and the drones from the Arbitrator, and that's it.
Yeah, there goes the Balcon. Like, he's not going to get saved, right? So it's up to absolutely the rest of the ships. Can they kill some small stuff, maybe to salvage some points?
This Griffin is getting pelted, but it is just living. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really nasty comp for the flight deck, and we are, I think, about to see the Nereus continue its 100% win streak.
I'm not sure how much this time the Nereus really affected it, but I think it was more those 2 Sentinels. Like, you can't let Sentinels just sit on top of your Deacons the entire time. That's a problem.
Yeah, a big problem that the Rainbow Wolves team has, though, right, is they don't really have any support that can really go after those Sentinels. Like, the best thing they can really do is just have the Arbitrators put combat drones on them. They don't have, like, Seapools or assault frigates or, like, a traditional, like frigate attack wing that can go out and do something to them.
Oh, look at this. Thor Janison, he's going for the boundary. He's given up. God bless. There's always a few. It seems that they know that this match is over.
He didn't even MJD. Come on, buddy. You only made it to 126. Yeah, you only made it to 126. It's not even close.
Does anybody know the record for the boundary at the moment?
It's 227 by Casper 24, I think.
All right.
The world long jumping champion.
Yeah.
Still, this means that Odin will now be sitting at the 2nd spot in Group C, which means that they will be in the quarterfinals next week. So they are still going to get to play.
Nice.
But it's not going to be high up in the tournament.
Sure, but a lot can change in a week, right? Like,
I've just heard on comms the instruction to commit Sudoku has been given.
Interesting thing to realize is both of these teams brought that control low end, whereas usually some of the teams bring like Swiftballs and some of the smaller stuff and the tackle frigates, especially on stuff like Vindicators, where you need a lot of tackle to just lock stuff down momentarily while the Vindicators do it. We see all Rainbow Wolves bring just the double Pontifex, double Arbitrator, and a Crucifier instead. Do you think that was one of the reasons they might have lost this?
Yeah, I think BBP said, right, there's no way to deal with these Sentinels, and if you can't deal with these Sentinels, then you just have like a huge problem over time, because they're just gonna nuke out these Vindicators, and the only like anti-support DPS that you have is the drones from the Arbitrators, which is half of that of a Seapool on a good day.
Yeah, these Leshaks, though, if you let them live on grid long enough, they are just going to end up winning matches. That's the thing. It doesn't matter how many Valgorns or how many disruption elements you bring. They will eventually win the day. Still, that is game over, with the flight deck winning that one 100-0 at the end of it, and advancing through at the head of their group to the next round, which means they get to skip a game